had actually a pretty productive day. I first of all had to clean my studio. It was in a complete state. I hadn't given it a proper clean probably since before the school holidays, so it was really messy. I had just been working in the mess, so I'd been sewing covers and stuff, and there was just fabrics everywhere that I needed to clean. My desk was messy, so I couldn't really film. I spent some time yesterday morning cleaning up my room. That was the first thing I had to do so that I could actually work. After that, I spent the rest of the day lining all the journals that I'm working on right now. That took hours. It took up the entire day after cleaning my studio, but it was productive because now that I've done that step, I can move along with the journals, and it's always the covers that take me the longest. So let me show you everything that I'm working on right now. I am working on these 3 hardcover journals, which I started actually a while back, many weeks back, and they've just kind of been at a standstill for a while. I just haven't had the time to work on them. These are really big journals. I absolutely love how the covers have turned out. I think they're some of my best. These journals are just massive. I just love the little images that I've selected for the covers, and I love the colors that I've picked for these covers as well. So I think they're going to be really special. So there's 3 of those. Love this one with the double window. And then the last one in this set is this one with the embossing all over the cover. I love how that embossing turned out. It took me forever, but it was well worth it. Really sweet little image, and there's the spine. So 3 of those really big journals. Yesterday I glued in the lining paper, which I'll just give you a sneak peek of. Just really beautiful paper. So those 3 journals are going to be available whenever I get them done. The rest of the journals are all custom orders. So just to clarify, I don't typically do custom orders. These are the first ones that I have done in like years. So I used to do custom orders when I first started, and then I just stopped because well, for lots of reasons which I won't get into right now, but I decided to open up some spots on my Instagram recently, and they filled up pretty quickly. I wasn't intending on doing 7, but I ended up taking on 7, so a pretty decent number. And this is what they all look like. They're all different depending on what each person asked for. Everybody wanted their journal to be obviously suitable for them and what they want and what they like, so they're all different to each other, and I absolutely love how every single one of them has turned out. I'm probably not going to be doing a lot of custom orders now. I'm not going to start doing them again. Typically, I may open up some spots, rarely, on occasion, but I'll just see how it goes. So today I'm going to be accumulating pages for each journal, and I also need to sort of prepare some little tabs for the custom journals. I don't really know if I'll get to that today, but I'm just going to see how I go. Today I'm just going to be working on journals. So because these are custom books, it's a little bit slower because I have to choose papers depending on what each person has asked for. People have sort of different themes, they all have different preferences, different colors that they like, and different uses for the book, so how they plan on using the book. So I have to individually select special papers for each book. What I'm doing is I'm picking about 15 papers to begin with for each book that bring in all of those things. And once I have about 15 pages that are special to each book, I will then go to my patterned papers, my scrapbook papers, and my ledger papers, and any other papers I might include, like craft paper, and I will go and add those into the mix. So for example, this book is the fairy tale book, and this one was very easy to find papers for that are suitable. I have a lot of fairy tale type books because I always like to make my journals sort of feel like a fairy tale book, so those are the types of books that I accumulate and that I have. So it was really easy to sort of find and pick papers that would work well for this theme. And then I've got some other fun vintage pages that I've included that will all work towards creating a theme. So you have to sort of think about how all of the pages are going to come together and work together to create the goal that you want for that journal. So some things might be really like 100% perfect for the book, and other things might just sort of lean into it just a little bit, but it has enough that when you put it together, it creates something really special. This book, it's going to have some little bunnies as the focal point, and this particular person likes sort of whimsical vibes, and I've included sort of some animals and nature type themed images that feel a little bit whimsical, and there's just lots of fun pages in here that again are going to come together to create something really nice, especially once I team other beautiful pattern pages with it. Morning, it is Thursday morning. I just did the school drop off and then I stopped at 2 thrift stores or op shops on my way home. I got a few crafty things. So I got this linen. This linen I was happy to find actually because, hang on a second, it is the same cross stitch that I used on my personal journal. This cross stitch I hoarded for the longest time because I loved it. I loved the pattern and I loved the colors. This is the same pattern in a different color. So it's just got stronger colors. It's still got the blue, the pink and the green, but it's much more stronger and vibrant. I love it. So it kind of replaced the one that I used. And yeah, it's super pretty. So really, really happy with that. Next, I got these colored manila folders or file folders. You can just find these at like Officeworks and stuff, but they were only 50 cents a packet, and they've got the little tabs and they're just in fun colors, and I figured I would definitely use those, be able to put those to use. So I got those for 50 cents each. I also picked up these 2 packets of envelopes and cards. I actually am not entirely sure. I know they've got little envelopes in them. The packaging is really faded, so they look pretty old. Actually, I'm gonna open these up and take a look. I think these were maybe $1 a packet or 50 cents a packet. Just some cute little tiny envelopes. They are old envelopes, and some little cards. I also got these for 50 cents. I'm pretty sure these are vintage. They are just like little note cards, I guess. Looks vintage to me, but not 100% sure. I also got some little beads, just some little kind of brassy beads. And I always check the jewelry and like the costume jewelry and stuff for beads as well. I got this necklace for, I think all of the jewelry or all of the necklaces at this store were $1 each or $2 each. So I got this one because it's just got these clear beads. I think they're plastic beads, but I always like to mix up sort of plastic beads with glass beads and wood beads and just have those different textures to give it a really nice look. I also got this one. So this one has some little sort of swirly gold beads and some blue beads, and then some small little like brass beads. I also grabbed this little yellow satin ribbon. And then the last thing I got is very random. So the last thing I got was this bag of boxes of confetti. And the reason why I got them is because I just thought that the actual boxes were really cool. I love old vintage packaging, so that's what drew me to these. I just thought the packaging was so fun. I don't know what I'm gonna do with them, to be honest. But when you open the little box, it's just full of paper confetti, as you would expect. So I've got a whole lot of confetti. I really just like the boxes. What should I do with these? Should I scan them in? What would you guys do with these boxes? I am just gonna put this stuff away, and then I'm going to get to work on all of my journal collections. I yesterday finished accumulating most of the papers for the books. I just have to add some vintage ledger paper, lined paper and stuff like that, and maybe some other vintage papers to the mixture. Then I will be folding the pages, creating pockets, creating tabs, and putting it all together. For me, the covers take the longest, and then next to that, picking out the papers. And then everything after that, you kind of have everything you need already accumulated, and you're just adding little things to it and adding little details to it. But a lot of the hard yards are already done for you. I'm really hopeful to work through these custom books pretty quickly from here on out, because I just don't like having people waiting on me. I want to get these done nice and quick from here on out so that these people can receive their journals. What I do once I've accumulated pages, I just stack them all inside the cover, and then once I've finished accumulating all the papers, then I go ahead and I start folding them and adding extra details. This is always my process. Whenever I'm making journals, I just shove the papers that I want inside the cover, and that helps me keep it organized when I'm working on multiple journals at once. So because I'm working on so many journals at once, it would get very confusing having different piles. So I just put them inside the cover, and that way it's an organized pile. So I just went through my vintage ledger and I pulled out enough for one sheet of each different type. So all lined pages except for these old fax sheets, which are kind of fun as well. So just all the different tones of the paper, so beautiful, and all the different colors. So some of them have numbers in the corner, some of them are like money columns. There's like the daily diaries, and there's plain lined, and there's handwriting sheets. Just a really fun mixture of lined papers that will get added to the custom journals as well. In case you guys don't know, I also have in my Etsy store some printable ledger papers, so with even more colors. There's some greens and some yellows. I do have 3 different packs of ledger paper that you can print out. It's just about lunchtime. I just finished folding and cutting down all the pages for all of the journals, and I've slipped the little images behind to show you what they're gonna look like. So these ones, those are the images that will peek through. This one, this lady doesn't want an image because she's going to put a photo behind. Oh, this one too is correct. It's a castle image. And then this one I've ordered a book for, because the lady liked a specific image and I think it's going to look perfect in there, so I'm just waiting for that book to arrive. So the image in this one complements the colours really well in the linens, and the fabrics, it just matches really well. This little cottage one, I love how this turned out too, because the little tree linen kind of works with the image and kind of comes together and just gives it like different levels of texture. But I love how the tree frames the cottage. This one, she wanted a woodland animal like a bunny or a fox or something like that, and this bunny just looks so cute nestled in the little garden. And then again, the way the linens kind of frame it, especially these little florals, kind of looks like it's part of the image. So I love how that turned out as well. This lady is going to use her book to document motherhood, and so we've used this image that kind of symbolizes her children. Love how that one turned out too. And then this one is the fairy tale slash sort of Disney vibes. So we've got the castle peeking through, and I love how this blue castle paper kind of pops with this soft pink. So I love how each of the journals are coming along. So before I begin adding pockets and things to the journals, I am first going to put the pages into signatures. That way I can make sure that everything looks really balanced in the end. And when I do get to adding pockets and stuff, I can make sure that all of the signatures look really nice and yeah, nice and balanced. So I'm going to go journal by journal and I'm going to create the signatures for the journals. One thing I take into consideration is what paper I want to be the very first page in the journal, because I think that's another important aspect. When you open it up, you want to have sort of a nice feel to it, but also keeping in mind that the first page on all of these journals will have a focal point attached to it. So a lot of that very first page will be covered up. Then when we flick through, you'll still be able to see little bits of it as well. So I just kind of want to keep in mind what page I'm going to pick for the first page. It's Tuesday the 9th of May. So on Friday last week, I had my daughter home from school sick, and then I'm sick myself as well a little bit, just with a bit of a flu-y thing. So Friday I didn't work at all. Over the weekend I didn't work at all. Yesterday I spent the entire day just creating pockets for the custom journals. So I was just picking papers to put into the journals and then sort of pinning them to the pages with paperclip. Today I'm going to start off just by sewing on all of those pockets. I've already done all of the slow part, which is the thinking and the choosing, selecting certain papers and trying to make it look nice.
I pin them on, so now it's just a matter of sitting down at my machine and just sewing. Because these books are custom orders, there's a certain amount of pressure that you feel to get them done quicker. So I've been trying to kind of power through them, make sure that I get them done within a reasonable time frame. Once I finish those, I will focus on these. So these have just been on hold. I have the covers done, which again, that's the slowest part for me. That's the part that I'm really careful and take the longest in deciding things and perfecting things. Once I have the cover done, I'm typically pretty quick at getting the inside pages done and then getting it bound and everything. So these ones shouldn't be too far off either. These really, really huge ones. I just checked my mailbox and I had in the mail this book, so I had to buy this book on eBay. The lady who ordered this journal, this was the image suggestion she sent to me. So this is an image I've used on one of my personal journals. And I don't think she was really hard and set that it had to be this image, but when I tried different images that I had, they just didn't look as nice. I kind of laid the cover over my personal journal and it looked so sweet. And I think that's just going to look adorable. I think the colours complement really well and it just kind of ties the whole thing together. It's 12:10, so I've just finished sewing all of the pockets into all of the journals. So I said that would take me an hour, maybe 2, but it actually took me 3. I always underestimate how long something's going to take me. For the rest of the day, I'll probably have about 2 hours. The tabs for the journals, hopefully I can also get them stitched onto the pages. I'm probably going to clear off my table, give it a bit of a clean, so that I have some room to make up the tabs for the journals. These are the original books that these journals are kind of a copy of, not a copy of. I'm remaking the same style, but they're obviously different. I am going to make the tabs the same style. So I may not have all of the same pieces, so I use little vintage sale ticket things that I don't have any more of, but I do have lots of embroidered ribbons. I've got vintage playing cards I can include. I've got photo slides, and I'm gonna try and make them as similar to that as I can. And I'm gonna pull out everything that I think would make a cute, interesting, eclectic tab, and then I'm going to cut anything down that I need to and just make little piles of the tabs for each book. I probably have about an hour and a half now after stopping for lunch and cleaning my table. So an hour and a half to at least prepare the tabs and then sew them on if I can. This little tin has my vintage playing cards in it. I don't have that many vintage playing cards at the moment. I've really been using up my stash. I probably have some other ones somewhere else that are packs and not as beautiful as some of these designs. So I'm gonna pick out 7 of my favorite little cards and then I'm gonna start adding to the pile. I just got all of these little scraps of linens from making the journals. So I cut a lot of linens up and used bits and pieces of them to create the covers. And so I'm using up those small scraps to make little tabs, so they're not going to waste, and I'm just kind of trimming them down into square or rectangular shapes that I can then fold and attach to the edge of a page to create a tab. It is Wednesday morning. My voice is a bit weird because I've just been coughing a lot, but
Yesterday afternoon, I only had time to stitch on the tabs for 2 of the journals before my workday was over. So last night I spent a bit of time stitching more tabs onto more of the journals. I think I only have 1 or maybe 2 books left that I have to stitch the tabs onto. I am having a little bit of trouble with my sewing machine again. I think I just need to replace the needle on it. It might be dull, but it's just started to skip some stitches, so that's really frustrating. I'm going to swap out the needle this morning, get the sewing done, and then hopefully today I can still bind the books. It's about midday. I've just gotten back from a little shopping trip. I had to drive about 40 minutes away because I really wanted to get some special beads to put on the custom orders. So I wanted to just have a really nice mixture of beads, and I have a lot of beads in my collection, but I just felt like I didn't have that many really special, beautiful, like eye-catching beads to mix in. So I wanted to make sure that I had more than enough to go around on all of the custom journals. It's just a really special touch. So I got a bunch of those, and also while I was there I also went to some op shops, and I didn't actually find much craft stuff. I did find a few fabrics at Lifeline. So these are the fabrics that I got. 2 Christmas fabrics and this pretty floral fabric, and I just thought those were pretty. These will definitely come in handy at Christmas time, even if it's just for making up the bags to post my journals in. So I got some fabrics, and I also got some linens. I only got 2. So this really big pretty cross stitch, and then this little purple embroidery. Then I've got the beads that I got at Spotlight. I got these because they're beautiful sparkly glass beads and they're quite heavy, so it's nice to have a mixture of beads. So I will mix these up with some wooden beads, some plastic beads, some charms and stuff, and the mixture of textures is what makes the finished product really beautiful. So I got those, and then everything else I got at the thrift store was just clothes. So I don't think you guys will be very interested in seeing those, but I got a couple of outfits for my niece. And I found this adorable outfit for my daughter Rue, but it's this little dress. It's so cute. It's got these little like roses on the collar. This will probably fit her this winter. It's just really, really pretty, nice heavy, nice warm dress. And it also has this cute little hat that goes with it. That's going to be so adorable on her. I got this really nice jacket. It's cold here in Australia at the moment, so I got this jacket It has a hood. It's got buttons. Obviously I have to wash it. And there's a couple of marks that hopefully will come out, but it fits me really nicely. I really like the lining on the inside, so I got that jacket for myself. If you've made it this far into this studio vlog, I wanted to thank you for sticking around. These studio vlogs always seem to end up being pretty long because I'm trying to condense a couple of weeks of work and footage into one video. Here at the end of this video, you just see me adding the finishing touches to the journals. So adding the beaded charms to the journals, and then they were finally complete. So lots of weeks of work to get them done. I'm really pleased with how they turned out, and I hope that each person really loves their journal when they receive it. I did also film a little tutorial on how I create my binding templates to get nice neat stitching, and I was going to include it in this vlog, but that footage and that video in itself ended up being about 15 minutes. So if you would like to see that, please let me know if that would be helpful. I'm happy to share that in a separate video. But for now, I'm going to leave this here, and thank you once again for watching. And if you liked this vlog, it would mean a lot to me if you could leave a little thumbs up on this video to help my channel out, and also just to let me know if you would like to see more videos like this.